God is dead, and we have killed him. What doesn't kill me makes me stronger." The man behind those words was Friedrich Nietzsche, usually pictured with an intense glare and a notoriously massive mustache. These provocative quotes and that imposing portrait have made him a mascot for cynical dorm room nihilists. We have to ask why history's notoriously grim thinker saw himself as a life-affirming guide to radical self-improvement. Nietzsche's actual life was quiet and academic. Born in 1844 in a German village, he was the son of a priest, and so brilliant at ancient Greek that he became a university professor in his mid-20s. But the brilliance didn't translate to success. He alienated his colleagues, quit his job, suffered constant romantic rejection, and watched his books fail to sell. He spent his final working years in total obscurity, living quietly in the Swiss Alps to write his masterpieces alone. In Turin, at age 44, his mind broke. He saw a driver beating a horse in the street, ran over to embrace the animal, shouted, "I understand you," and collapsed. He never recovered. His philosophy of grand heroism was a survival mechanism for his own miserable reality. Nietzsche argued that to become who we truly are, we have to face our own pain rather than hiding from it. He grouped Europe's two great narcotics as its primary ways to hide: alcohol and Christianity. His resentment of Christianity was psychological. He observed that the religion emerged in the late Roman Empire among timid slaves who lacked the stomach to fight for what they actually wanted. He called this Sklavenmoral, or slave morality, a framework where people who are too inept to achieve fulfillment fashion a creed that relabels their inherent weakness as goodness. Under this system, submission becomes obedience. The sheer inability to take revenge is praised as forgiveness. He viewed alcohol the same way. A few drinks provide a transient satisfaction that numbs the sting of failure and saps the will to improve. These narcotics act as machines for bitter denial, protecting us from the reality of the dangerous lives we are meant to live. Without the alcohol and the religious coping mechanisms, we're forced to look at the ugly reality of our own envy. Nietzsche saw envy as a guide pointing toward our true capabilities. Every person who makes us envious indicates what we could one day become. This is the process of Self-Überwindung, or self-overcoming. The individual must use their envy to push forward. To become an Übermensch is to fight heroically for what you really want, even if you ultimately fail. Greatness comes from the courage to face our true desires and mourn failure with solemn dignity. The "God is dead" quote serves as a dire warning about the end of religious belief. Nietzsche knew that religion, however false, helped humans cope with the pain of existence. He saw the 19th century reeling from two threats: mass democracy, which threatened to unleash a torrent of undigested envy, and atheism, which left humanity without moral guidance. Humanity had killed its primary coping mechanism, leaving a dangerous psychological gap. Nietzsche felt that the massive gap left by religion should ideally be filled by culture, philosophy, literature, art, and music. He strongly believed the universities of his era were killing the humanities by turning them into dry, lifeless academic exercises. He looked instead to the ancient Greeks, who had used tragic drama as a practical, therapeutic tool for moral education. Nietzsche challenges us to use culture as a guide for radical self-honesty, forcing us to face our envy and finally become who we really are.